prepared us for the ground experience we were about to encounter. It was chaos, but we worked together to figure out the next best steps. About 17:30, Staff Sergeant Darren Hoover, friend and mentor, came to get me from the tower to go help find an Afghan interpreter in the crowd. We found the interpreter and his brother. They told us of 5 family members still in the canal. I stayed there waiting for the family members standing against a 2-foot canal wall. Then a flash and a massive wave of pressure. I'm thrown 12 feet onto the ground, but instantly knew what had happened. I opened my eyes to Marines dead or unconscious lying around me. My body was overwhelmed from the trauma of the blast. My abdomen had been ripped open, every inch of my exposed body, except for my face, to ball bearings and shrapnel. For a few minutes, I started to lose consciousness. I heard Chaz, my team leader, screaming my name as he ran to me. His voice calling to me kept me awake. The withdrawal was a catastrophe, in my opinion, and there was an inexcusable lack of accountability and negligence. The 11 Marines, 1 sailor, and 1 soldier that were murdered that day have not been answered for. Living out of our
between Border Patrol and migrants in El Paso. This morning, tensions escalating on the Texas border. Dramatic new video shows a struggle between Border Patrol and migrants in El Paso. The video shows dozens of migrants pulling aside a razor wire fence, then pushing their way past a handful of Border Patrol agents. The migrants were eventually stopped a short time later by a steel fence, where border agents and Texas DPS contained the situation and processed the 400 to 600 migrants. Governor
Venezuela, men, women and children, families clambering aboard where they can outside the Mexican town of Arapuato. They're part of a new wave of thousands amid a surge in illegal migration to the US. Sleeping on top of cardboard boxes.
Growing number of Chinese migrants are crossing into the United States from Mexico without visas, taking irregular overland routes across Latin America. Over the course of 3 weeks, Reuters witnessed hundreds of Chinese nationals along an isolated border stretch in southeastern Texas. Reuters interviewed more than 24 of them. All of those interviewed said they got the idea to take the land route on social media and drew on influencers, private groups, and comments to plan their trips.
The people here, the police here,
migrants attempted to push through the U.S.-Mexico border to demand asylum. The crowd, which was mainly Venezuelans, overtook a bridge connecting Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, and El Paso, Texas, after rumors spread that migrants would be able to cross that day. The group was ultimately stopped by barricades, barbed wire, and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents in riot gear. Some participants claim the agents also used tear gas.
In Arizona, Justin, what is it looking like there? What are the implications and ramifications of this port of entry closure tonight?
Hey, Andrew, good evening. First off, I want to give you a look at what's going on here. We've talked to different migrants from different countries, and some of these people have been waiting days to get to the next step, which would be transportation to the collection center. Now, photojournalist Mark Johnson giving you a look at what the border wall looks like right here in Lukeville. You can see the sections of lines that go down about the length of a football field. I mean, this is easily around 1,000 people, and there were more earlier today as we arrived in the afternoon. I spoke to
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says he won't send National Guard troops to the border, despite calls from his Republican-led legislature.
The last thing in the world I'm going to do is put the brave women and men of the Pennsylvania National Guard's lives at risk to be part of some political squabble at the border.
Officials tell NBC